Hi, welcome to Did You Know Part 3. I'm Lisa Lingo, the Business Development Manager for Exertis Almo. And today I have with me my partner in crime, Matt Wirsig. Matt is the Channel Development Manager for Barco ClickShare, and we're going to jump right in.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So, Matt, there is a lot of buzz around BYOD and BYOM. Why such a popular topic?
Yeah. I think that they are terms that are just ones that people throw around a lot nowadays. And ClickShare sits very squarely in the midst of what people's expectations of those terms are, depending on what they want to accomplish. So, as most of us know, BYOD, bring your own device, right? So if I'm not using a room system, I'm bringing a device in that I want to do something with and the connectivity around that, right? So that's bring your own device. And then BYOM, bring your own meeting, in essence, is assuming that you've already brought your own device and now you're bringing your meeting provider of choice, meaning you want to drive conferencing and collaboration from your laptop, right? And I think this resonates especially with people coming out of the pandemic who maybe used to work out of the office, used to use those dedicated in-room systems, but now they're used to doing everything from their laptops. They come into work, maybe it's a hybrid environment. They're in the office 1 or 2 days. They work remote the rest of the week. How do we bridge the gap from what they're used to in their home office to what they experience and how easy it is to utilize and consume technology in the actual office space? So those are kind of our definitions of what people are looking for there. And ClickShare does a great job of being something that is adaptable to client expectations and requirements, and less so something that needs to be adopted, right? So using the case of BYOD or BYOM in one scenario, these are like what we would call a full vendor agnostic type of a conference space. So a client doesn't want to spend money on recurring Microsoft Teams licenses or Zoom licenses, the technology requirements that come along with that. They say, you know what, our users, Matt, are used to driving collaboration from their laptops, doing everything from those devices. How do we give them a great point of entry into these conference rooms so they're set up and the rooms are just adaptable and flexible, right? And so these are scenarios where PC or Mac walks into those conference rooms. They're able to engage ClickShare with our button or our free app for PCs and Macs. They are able to, on those devices, leverage one of many conferencing providers. Sometimes people use multiple. We use Teams internally here at Barco. You and I are doing a Zoom call right now, right? I mean, I think that's pretty accurate for most folks. So, you're able to, on your device, drive your conferencing, and then whatever peripheral technology is in that room. So, with the appropriate camera, all in one soundbar, et cetera, whatever you're using, your displays in the room, and ClickShare, you now have an environment where a user comes in, very easy to connect up into the system, and you have a room that is a Teams call at 10, a Zoom call at 11, maybe a guest needs to do GoToMeeting later in the day. The room is flexible and adaptable. And so we would kind of look at this as like a full bring your own meeting, vendor agnostic type of a deployment scenario for ClickShare, which is quite popular.
Yeah, that sounds quite easy. So
Yeah.
tell me this, what if they have a designated platform, conferencing platform that they're using in a room? So say it's set up strictly for MTR.
Sure. Yeah. So that is pretty common. We have folks that understand the value of what I was just talking about, but for whatever reason, they are going a fixed setup in those rooms, right? And there's some advantage for them doing that from a feature set perspective. So those were either deployed pre-pandemic. A lot of times we found that maybe USB for bring your own device wasn't run to the conference table, or just simply flopping a USB cable on the conference table for users, if it is there, just doesn't give them enough. So these rooms, those users also are not utilizing as much as their peers that are in the office full time, right? So they're going from driving collaboration on their laptop at home to now they need to schedule a room. They need to add themselves to that meeting invite that has a Teams link attached to it. If you haven't done all that stuff, walking into a Teams room can be a little complex as to how you quickly take over, share your content, and go, right? Is one thing. And I think that rings true for a Zoom room as well. The other challenge is it is a Teams or a Zoom room, but shoot, I've got to do a GoToMeeting call. There's all this great technology in the conference room, the camera, the audio setup, et cetera. Can I utilize those for my call from my laptop and not have to use my laptop camera and microphone, et cetera? So we find that our newest unit, the CX50 Gen 2, has some really great USB capability that we've added to it to kind of address that need. And so what we're calling it is room switching. So by simply adding ClickShare, and there's a couple different ways you can do it. It's either tying us into a scenario that has an Android all-in-one UC bar that's licensed, or maybe it's a small form factor UC engine, PC driven in-room system. We can integrate the same product into either scenario. And what we're able to do is by simply waking up ClickShare, we do a number of things. And so you just saw the slide build out here. One is first and foremost, when you click the button or start sharing on the app, your content takes over and you're now on those display or those displays in that conference room. But then you're also able to launch, it could be a Teams call in a Teams room. You just want to use your web client on your device, or it could be a call with BlueJeans or GoToMeeting, what have you. We will take the peripherals away from being locked into their Teams or Zoom room setup. We will automatically toggle them into BYOM mode, which means they're now unlocked for agnostic conference calling. So that user then has the full suite of features that come with Zoom or GoToMeeting, WebEx, et cetera. Whereas with Microsoft Teams today, you can make a third-party call, but you have to use a WebRTC client. It's a very stripped back user experience. So you don't have all the creature features that you're used to, right, in Zoom or GoToMeeting. So we expand and unlock all that with just one or two cables, depending on if it's an Android all-in-one or a PC-driven system. And then when you're done with your call, we do something equally cool. We release all those peripherals right back to what they were programmed to do with that Teams room or that Zoom room, right? And nobody has to do anything manually. So, really we're talking about the benefit now of taking BYOM that we were discussing in one scenario, which is fully agnostic from the jump, but now bolting that onto a fixed environment, a default room for Teams or Zoom, and unlocking that true BYOM potential in those spaces, which is pretty great.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now we got a good handle on BYOD and BYOM with ClickShare. Is there anything else you want to offer or address about, ClickShare in the meeting space with BYOD and BYOM before we?
Well, I think really it's driving what we just talked about. A lot of partners, it's clear when we're talking about a fully agnostic setup with ClickShare, but when there's a Teams room, sometimes it's a little bit more confusing as to what role we play. So very much so that BYOM, BYOD enablement piece is key. So I encourage my partners that like selling and installing Teams and Zoom rooms, keep doing that, but add the additional value of ClickShare on top of that, because clients are talking about it, how they can best address that BYOD, BYOM requirement, which a fixed room doesn't quite accommodate as well as it should. So in addition to that, it's all the stuff that ClickShare is still great for, and its flexibility, ease of use. All of our software is free of charge. We give away our cloud, our management tool, free of charge, life of product firmware maintenance. And when you utilize our cloud, we actually extend the 1-year factory warranty to 5 years. So if people want one less thing that has ongoing fees and licensing and recurring costs, ClickShare very much so is a great option for those clients as well. So I'd say that encapsulates everything I wanted to cover today.
That's perfect. And we've shared quite a lot in a short amount of time. I appreciate you being here. Thank you all for watching. We will return soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Lisa.
Take care.
Bye-bye.